Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Dog Training Advent Calendar. Today you're going to need some treats, don't need a clicker today, and we are going to be working on place, so the bed or blanket that you've been using to train place, we're going to need that today too. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. Today Kaya and I are practicing place and stay. Eventually I would like to be able to go answer the door while she's laying on her bed. So I'm just cueing stay with my flat palm, and then I'm taking 1 or 2 steps back and then returning and giving her a treat. And then I remind her to stay, take another couple steps back and return and give her the treat. It's really easy for her to do while I'm facing her, but when I turn my back, she immediately gets up. So I know that means that it's too hard. So I'm going to try it one more time. She still gets up. So if she gets up, that means that the stay is too hard. So I'm going to go back to a little bit easier and just walk backwards facing her again. And then we can gradually work up to turning my back. So I turn just a little bit and then a little bit more. So we just take it in slow, easy steps, just gradually getting a little bit harder as we go. If she breaks the stay, which means that she gets up before I told her that she could get up, then I'm just going to go back and cue place again and cue stay again. And I'm not going to give her a treat for that time that she went back to the place. I just remind her to stay. Whenever she gets up, that means that the stay is too hard, so I try and go back a little bit easier. Here again, I want to add some distance, so it's easier for her to add distance if I'm facing her.
Girl. Very good.
That was a really hard one. That's the longest distance we've done with the stay before, so I go ahead and end the session right there with my release word, which is free. And then she can get up and do whatever she wants to do. We do a little bit of petting, a little relationship session. You want to keep stays fun. And then go ahead and start again. So cue her to place and stay. Start walking away. You see all that work we did in the last session paid off. I'm able to turn my back and walk away from her. So my goal is to get all the way to the door and be able to open the door with somebody on the other side. So I just gradually get closer and closer to that goal. So whenever she gets up, I'm just going to cue place again. Remind her to stay. Remember, no treat for that because I didn't tell her that she could get up. So I'm not going to give her a treat for going back to the place either. You can tell her, good girl, but no treat. So she broke the stay twice in a row, so I made it a little bit easier that next time. And then had an opportunity to reward her. And I'm gradually making it hard again. So again, she gets up, so I just cue her to go back to the bed, remind her to stay. It seems that whenever my back is turned, that's when she's more likely to get up. She just needs some more practice with that distraction.
Alright. Good girl.
But remember that we want to keep our training sessions pretty short with these stays. Just a minute or 2 minutes at a time, and then go ahead and tell her free and let her get up. Do some praise and some petting to end that session on a good note. Now it's Keegan's turn, and you can see that he's a lot more solid with his stay, so I'm able to move a lot farther with him. So I cue stay, I go to the door, and I'm going to start turning the doorknob. A lot of dogs get really excited as soon as you turn the doorknob. They think somebody's there, so they're going to jump up and run to the door. So I just turn the doorknob and then go back and give him a treat. Open the door just a crack, go back and give him a treat. So keeping the steps still very small. Small little increments towards our goal. Now I open the door and look outside. I want him to think that there might be somebody at the door because that's what we're working towards, is to be able to answer the door when somebody's standing there. So he got pretty excited when I opened the door and looked out, so now we're making it easy again, just touching the doorknob and then going back up to opening the door and looking out. So this next time I'm gonna open the door and pretend like somebody's there and talk to them. You see that made Keegan bark, so that means that we went way too far there. So I go cue him back to do a place, remind him to stay, and now I'm gonna make it really easy for the next couple of trials. So I just barely open the door, close it back, come and give him a treat. Then we're gonna make it easy again. So once he started the barking, that tells us that it was way too difficult for him. So I definitely don't want to try that step again. I want to make it easy again so that he can relax. Back into the stay, remember what we're doing. Now he's a bit more relaxed, so I'm going to try talking again. It made him bark again, so we're just going to repeat. Go back to the place. Remind him to stay. So even just looking out the door this time got him excited, but he didn't bark and he didn't get off the place, so that was really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and release him, let him take a little break. So doing a little bit of playing and running around is a really good way to take a break from a stay session. So some high energy running, hand touches, lots of excitement. It's pretty much the opposite of a stay, so that's a good way for him to take a break and kind of recharge. So then I cue him to stay again. I look out the door and he doesn't bark. So at this point I'm just trying to see, what is it that's making him bark? Is it just me talking, or is it me doing other things too, like just looking out the door or even taking a step out the door? Seems to be fine with me just looking out the door. He did get excited, but he didn't bark and he didn't get off the place. So that tells me that that's right around his threshold. That's right around the point that he's going to be able to do this day. So I go back to a little bit easier. So we don't want to just make our stays harder and harder and harder every time. You want to throw in some easy ones too. Now I'm going to talk again. And again, he's barking. So I have him go back to the place, and I want to see if I can get him to settle down, to calm down. That was a good one. He didn't bark that time, so that's good. Another successful trial. Good. So again, if you find that they break the stay, or in Keegan's case that he starts barking, you just send him back to the place, remind him to stay, don't give him a treat. And then if he breaks the stay a couple times and it's telling you that it's too difficult. So here again I talk, and again he barks. At least he didn't get off the place this time. So that's telling me that he's getting a little bit calmer. So I'm just going to remind him to stay. Try it again. But then he got off the place again. So it does definitely seem to correlate with every time I talk.
Hello.
He's going to bark and get off the bed. And he's even starting some barking right here when I'm not talking at the door. So that's telling me that this session is going long enough for him that he's having trouble concentrating. So I just do a quick easy trial.
give him a good reward, and then let him get up, and we'll end our session right there. And now I know that for the next session, I need to work on talking outside the door.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that training session. If you did, please be sure and click like, subscribe, comment, share, all of those things that we normally do. You guys are being silly. Alrighty, I appreciate you guys coming. Hope you guys had fun, and I will see you again tomorrow for our next episode of the Dog Training Advent Calendar. See you then. Stop being goofballs.